Hey, I got a favor. Thank you, but you know what? Thank you to our men and women overseas and here, as we said earlier. If anybody's just hanging out, come on over, because we need an audience for this, because we'd like for you to come on up here. We have a very special presentation today. We are joined by an amazing woman to my right, Melissa Jarboe, and I'm always afraid I'm going to say it wrong. Did I say it right, Jarboe?
Yes, Jarboe.
Melissa Jarboe, but I'm a Facebook follower, so I've seen your name, but today was the first day we met. Melissa has an amazing story to tell. We'll also be chatting with Jeff, and Jeff is with Wishes for Heroes. And on this Armed Forces Day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we're going to tell you about Wish for Our Heroes. It is a special program giving a lot of opportunities to those men and women and family members who are serving our country and those who are here at home as well. If we can, first of all, talk to Melissa about what your story is. You and your husband love the Indy 500, and your husband, Sergeant Jamie Jarboe, was shot by a sniper in Afghanistan. And the reason why you are here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is because this is where he proposed to you. So if we can talk about that very quickly and talk about Jamie and your history here, which includes becoming engaged and why we're up on this stage.
Okay, it happened a couple of years ago. Jamie and I are avid car lovers. And so we came to the museum, and he fumbled around and dropped the ring a couple times and eventually proposed to me on February 13th. And we were later married the next day on Valentine's Day.
This is at the museum.
Yes, right in the middle of the museum next to some of the sexiest cars I've ever seen in my life. We were real excited. So we got married on Valentine's Day. And then 2 weeks later, they kind of got transferred. Instead of going to Iraq, they got shifted to Afghanistan. So on February 28th, my husband deployed to the Zari district, the southern part of Afghanistan.
And take it from there. If you can, tell us a story. We've got a Facebook page that's prayers for Sergeant Jamie Jarboe, and that was during an 11-month battle following being hit by a sniper, and getting 17,000 followers and sharing your story.
Correct. My husband was in one of the toughest terrains in Afghanistan, where they were under hostile fire every day. Their unit took, out of the 468 soldiers, they had about 183 Purple Hearts given out and just numerous casualties. My husband was one of the first major casualties of that unit. On April 10th at 7:30 a.m. while he was on patrol, a sniper shot him with a 7.62 bullet through the left side of his neck. That bullet exited out his spine, leaving him quadriplegic. Once he got to Walter Reed within 48 hours, I was brought bedside from the military, and I was able to see my husband and touch him for the first time in 2 months, knowing that, hey, he made it to American soil, we're home free. Later we found out that a lot of neurological damage was sustained, and 117, 118 surgeries later in 7 different hospitals and numerous specialists, nobody could save my husband at that point. And we were told on March 13th of this year that he was terminal, and we had to put him on hospice. We were flown home to Topeka, Kansas. He was based out of Fort Riley with the 4-4 Cav Infantry Division. Big Red Ones there in Kansas. So we got to go back home to some of the soldiers, and he was able to see some of the guys that saved his life that day. And the girls and I, we have 2 daughters, we never left his side that entire time in the hospital. We forfeited anything outside. We literally spent 11 months inside a hospital, and it was the best 11 months of our life. We rocked every day of it.
And you talk racing? Because and cars.
We did.
We talked racing and cars. I understand that. Just again, if you get engaged at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the museum, there's a love for cars. You take your trip back tonight in the 30s. What did you say your favorite car is?
Yeah, we argued often about cars. We'd go back to a 1937 Chevy Coupe is my favorite. I'm kind of an old school girl. My husband has a 76 Chevy Malibu that he restored with a big bad engine. So we ended up giving that to our oldest daughter, and just kind of rocking the whole car motif most of the time. So
well, our thoughts and prayers. This was just in March, so this is very fresh for you. Let's talk about our partner to our left here, if we can, and Jeff. Let's talk about the program and how it became kind of connected with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and why we're up here today. You do have an envelope in your hand, so let's talk about your program, Jeff, and tell us a little bit more about what you guys do and how you found out about Melissa.
Sure. Well, Wish for Our Heroes, we are a locally based military charity. We're actually based in Noblesville, and we started this.
You got a round of applause there. There you go. Thank you. And your wife is over here. Again, anybody who's just coming around the area, we're talking to Melissa Jarboe and also Jeff as well, and learning more about a special presentation that's taking place. So go ahead and fill us in.
So my dad, I was in the Army at the time. My dad was a retired Marine, and he passed away about 3 years ago, and we had always talked about doing something. He was very loyal, just a big supporter, big fan of the military, all branches, all troops, and we had always talked about doing something to help our military members. And so those last couple weeks, right before he passed, we spent a lot of time talking and thinking of something that we could do, and in the evenings we kind of pieced together a business plan on how we could actually make it happen. And he passed away on April 27th, 2009, and I came back here to Indy and met with some folks that I knew, some business folks, and we put it together, and we
officially. Wish for Our Heroes came to be.
Came to be, and we officially launched November that year. Obviously, you have to go through the 501c3 process and all that. And
you have to go through the hoops for that, but that's a great cause. You have to go through that. Does the program, it offers up help and wishes for heroes, and our men and women are heroes. Let's talk about those wishes. We've got some coming up in just a second here, along with Melissa, but what type of things are we talking about?
Well, we've granted to date, in the last 2.5 years, we've granted 1,045 wishes, give or take, roughly $1 million in value. And most of the wishes that we grant are very basic in nature: putting food on the table, shelter, transportation. A lot of people take it for granted. Our military folks are taken care of in those basic needs. And you'll see, as you talk to them, or if you know anybody in the military, many of them are not. And so the majority of what we do is centered around basic and helping them. Occasionally, however, we get to do a very special, fun type of program. And we just so happen to have come in contact with a couple folks from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we just started a new program, and it doesn't only apply to the Indy 500, it applies to all of the races here.
Kroger Super Weekend, Brickyard 400 Weekend, and MotoGP.
Yes, ma'am.
You are hooking up the troops with tickets.
That's the idea.
Could that be the motto now? Hooking up the troops with tickets.
I like it. Basically, donors, folks can go on our website, and there's a specific link on there that allows people to donate just to send troops to the race. And as you know, it's such a deep Indiana tradition here between the Speedway, the military, and the state of Indiana. And we wanted to give folks an opportunity to go on and help send as many troops as possible so they can have the same experience.
How did you connect with Melissa? Because that goes back even before this program, am I correct?
Sure.
This goes back before that.
We first came in contact with Melissa in October last year, so Jamie was midway through his battle at that point. And the way that our website works in general, we always have wishes posted on there. We always have military families in need. So that way, if we have a donor, let's say you want to donate $10, you can go on our website, you can actually pick a specific family that you want that money to go to. So that way you know exactly where your funds are going. The average donation we receive on there is maybe $20, $30. And so I went on one day, and I try to check all the donations every week and who's donating. And I saw a $1,500 donation to help a military family with car repairs, which is extraordinarily
We all know about car repairs, not just about out here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but just all of us.
Absolutely.
That's a big, that's good.
Absolutely, and I had never heard. I saw the name. It was from a Jamie Jarboe, and I didn't know Jamie. They were from Topeka, Kansas. I didn't know anybody from Topeka, and I emailed them to thank them and asked how they heard about this family. And Melissa responded and said they heard from their Facebook page. Still didn't say a word about their situation. So I went immediately onto their Facebook page because I was curious, and I looked, and I was absolutely blown away because once I saw what struggles they were going through, what Melissa, her girls, what Jamie had been through, the fact that somebody would even consider donating to help another military family with car repairs after they've had so much taken from them in the form of her husband, their father, their family, just absolutely blew my mind, and I just couldn't get over it. And so that's how the relationship started. And a couple months later, we went up, we visited Melissa and Jamie in Johns Hopkins up in Maryland. Shortly thereafter.
Again, it's Wishes for Our Heroes, and also Melissa Jarboe. And Melissa, let's talk about your Facebook page very quickly. We do